Good morning. The reflection before Mass today is why we should go to confession before receiving Holy Communion. So if anyone is ever conscious of committing a mortal sin or a serious sin, we are always obliged to go to confession before receiving Holy Communion and the Eucharist. The Church has always taught that a person who receives communion while conscious of a mortal sin does not only receive the graces of the Eucharist, but also commits another sin of sacrilege by failing to show proper reverence due to the sacred body and blood of Christ. St. Paul himself warns us that whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord unworthily will have to answer for the body and blood of the Lord. St. Paul goes on to say that a person should examine himself, and so eat the bread and drink the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning eats and drinks judgment on himself. This is from St. Paul, first letter to the Corinthians. To receive the body and blood of Christ while conscious of a mortal sin represents a contradiction. The person who by his or her own action has broken communion with Christ in the Church, but receives Holy Communion, is both claiming and rejecting at the same time having communion with Christ. So thus it is a countersign that expresses a communion that has in fact been broken. Before we receive Holy Communion, we should always make a good examination of conscience to make sure that we are not conscious of mortal sin. If we become conscious of mortal sin, then we are to go to confession to have the sin washed away, and then after confession we are free to receive the Eucharist. We always want to treat the Eucharist with the utmost respect and reverence, which includes the state of our soul when we receive Holy Communion. Don't be afraid to go to confession, because in the confessional, all you receive is Christ's loving forgiveness. Mass will begin shortly.